Good day. I am GeneralLotz, and it is December of 2019, and it's been a hell of a year. This year has probably been the best year in the past 10, I want to say. Let me put it this way, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a very, very good year. A lot of cool stuff has happened behind the scenes. The channel's been doing pretty well with the Star Wars year. I'm glad I got to do Star Wars year because I've wanted to talk about Star Wars games for a very long time, but I've just always put it back, and it's really cool to finally talk about some of my favorite games of all time. I wasn't able to finish everything this year, unfortunately, just because, well, time being what it is and all sorts of things, but I definitely will be getting to some other Star Wars games at some point in the not-too-distant future. Now, KOTOR has been postponed until 23rd February 2020. Why, you might ask? Because that's my birthday. And also because KOTOR is a very long game, and that review is going to be very difficult to actually create with what limited time I do have. Now then, what review is coming out this month, you might ask? I don't know. It might have something to do with the 90s. Might have something to do with the 90s first-person shooter. But I don't know which one it might be. You'll just have to wait until the Christ Mass. Because this Christmas, there shall no be... Ugh. Well, I kind of blew that line, didn't I? This Christmas, there shall... God damn it! This Christmas, there shall be no peace on earth. Got it right! For those who might not know, that was actually the tagline for the horrible Alien vs. Predator Requiem? Resurrection? Something like that. AVPR. I think it was released in 2007. Oh, man, that movie was bad. I saw it opening day, though. I saw it opening day. I even got the PSP game. The PSP game was shit. It was terrible. I got to review that one day if I had the time to do it. Oh, man, that game was bad. The movie was bad. That was not the best Christmas. Well, the Christmas was good, but that movie was not good. Speaking of a movie that's not good, Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. I already have been spoiled on it. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone else who wants to see it. I'm actually going to go see it next week with my mother, actually. We're going to take a look at it, see if it's not as terrible as the previous two. Yeah, I've heard that it is the best of a bad lot. I got to admit, though, and I hate to admit this, I'm not betraying the EU, but I got to say I'm kind of intrigued. I saw the trailer, and you got Palps, he's like, I've been every voice in your head, Kylo Ren. And I'm like, oh, so that's why that universe is so depressing. Palps was even more powerful. Now, Palps being alive, to a Star Wars fan, that's nothing. I mean, that was one of the earliest bits of the EU back in the early 90s with Dark Empire. So seeing Palps come back, that's not really a big surprise. I'm actually surprised they did it, and I'm glad they did do it. But yeah, now I've heard and I've read what's happened to the book, and I've seen, not the book, but the movie, and I've seen some things that people have talked about in regards to the movie. With some things not really squaring up. I mean, I get that this is, well, Disney canon, so therefore much inferior to the EU, but don't make up stuff that didn't actually happen in the movie. I mean, there's one scene in particular where people are complaining about, oh, Rey is so much too overpowered, how could she do this? Well, technically, it doesn't go quite that easily for Rey. Rey actually is brought down to human when facing Palps, and that I like. Of course, you know, spoiler alert, Palps loses. I don't know if you know that, but Palps is going to lose. You know what else? Thanos lost in Avengers Infinity War. I don't even know that. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. Do you think the villain's going to lose? I don't know. It's kind of like Wrath of Khan. Do you think Khan's going to get his wrath? I think he is. Or The Search for Spock. This is one that's a common joke, but I'm making it anyway. It's like, what? They don't find him? They don't find Spock? That's going to be the next movie. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious Palps loses, but he loses gracefully. That's the thing. That's what I've read. We'll see if he does. I hope he does. But, yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, he loses. Good guys win. I mean, I get that Rian Jansen wanted to subvert expectations, but you don't subvert them that far. But anyway, that is neither here nor there, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, one cool thing about this year is, of course, I finally, this is actually from the review, got the M1 Garand after all these years. And it is a beautiful rifle. It is heavy. Everyone who complains about this thing being heavy, they were 100% right. Goddamn heavy rifle. I have no reason to talk about the M1 Garand, but I just kind of want to because it's cool. Alright, so live streams have not been a common thing this month because I've had no time to work on them. Because just about every Friday I'm busy trying to get the actual reviews done. The last book review of this month is going to come out slightly before the new year. That's going to be Rogue Squadron. The problem I'm having with that is, since I have little time to read, I kind of want to finish reading Republic Commando. Because I've gotten definitely on a big Republic Commando kick after I read Hard Contact. It's a damn good book series. Much better than I remember. It's definitely not at all like the game, though. Not at all like that. The game is very much, your basic hero stuff where you go in and shoot the droids. This is a whole other kettle of fish. What's kind of funny about it, though, and I might mention that in a review at some point, but I'll mention it here, too. This might seem a bit political, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. There's a substantial difference between the Rogue Squadron series, which came out in the early 90s, and the Republic Commando series, which came out in the early 2000s, and I wonder if 9/11 and the war in Iraq had something to do with that. Because in Rogue Squadron, everything's kind of black and white, Imperial's bad, Republic good, whereas Republic Commando, it's much more gray, it's much more dreary in some respects. And I wonder how much of a cultural impact 9/11 actually had, like, on something as basic as Star Wars literature. It's just an interesting little observation I've had. Let's see here. What else we got? 2020 game reviews. I'm still trying to finalize a list of games to actually review. I'd always try to stick to a concrete list, but then a new game will come out and I'll want to talk about it. So my theory for next year is going to be January Far Cry Blood Dragon, February KOTOR 1, March Doom Eternal, which actually looks pretty damn good, I hate to admit. And then April, I'm thinking Dark Souls 3. And then May, I'm considering Terminator Resistance. And in June, I'm also thinking about Jedi Fallen Order. I haven't had a chance to play Jedi Fallen Order or Terminator Resistance in a while. Been able to play a lot of Dark Souls 3, though. There is a tactic in that I'm going to advocate in the review that works for just about every Dark Souls game, where you just bump up strength of dex. Just do that, and the game's really quite easy. Terminator Resistance, I think I mentioned this in either a live stream or a vlog, I don't remember, but it's a very good game, Fallout, but with Terminators. It's actually got some good stealth to it, sort of. The stealth's pretty basic, but it's good enough and easy enough for someone such as myself. Jedi Fallen Order, I've gotten past the first level, and it's been fun so far. Really, I've just been playing Dark Souls 3 and Super Mario 3. I saw a video on that not too long ago, and have kind of gotten into Super Mario Brothers 3. It's kind of amazing to think that back in 1990, that was the game to own. And there's a lot of content in Super Mario Brothers 3. Now, I'm playing the version I played as a kid, and as a kid, I enjoyed Super Mario Brothers 3 over all the other Mario Brothers games that were released at that time, because I had Super Mario All-Stars. But it's amazing just how much content they were able to cram in that NES and later SNES cart. It's quite an amazing little thing. There's a new SNES emulator out called Musen S, or Messen S, I should say. Messen is an emulator for the NES that's actually pretty good, and Messen S is sort of a fork of that for the SNES. I quite like it. The controls are already mapped for you. I'm lazy, what can I say? Better mapped than RetroArch. You can change the screen resolution quite easily. I think you can do that with SNES 9X, but I'm not 100% sure. You can also use fast forward and rewind as well, which is quite a bit. Which makes it it's a convenience thing for me, because I hate to have to reload the save. And don't even think I'm going to be playing those games legit, because I tried to beat Donkey Kong Country legit earlier this year. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen, is that game virtually impossible without save states. Yeah, I know people 100% it, no death runs, whatever. But for a basic gamer like me, damn. So overall, ladies and gentlemen, 2019 has been a hell of a year. I'm going to try to get a live stream in before the end of the year, but don't count on it because just limited time. And I think y'all would rather have reviews than just me rambling on about games. Well, let's put it this way. You like me rambling on about games but you'd probably rather have a review than just another stream amongst the multitude. So in any event, I am GeneralLotz, and I'm going to wish you good mystery 90s game, or whatever makes you happy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and if you can, please consider supporting me on Patreon so that I can continue bringing you this awesome content.